My name is Antonella Spatola, and I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. And I am the founder and head instructor for ESD Australia Wisdom for Women. My definition of empowerment has changed over the last few years, especially through facilitating the ESD trainings in the Asia Pacific region. So, in a nutshell, I would define empowerment as having the ability to make informed decisions and feeling confident and strong in your own convictions with the information that you have at hand in that time, and also the right to change your mind based on, again, the situation that you're in. So feeling empowered to make your own informed decisions for what is best for you. I see the spirit of empowerment through self-defense in my trainings when I observe the participants having that, oh, oh yeah, that's right. Because what I do is I actually get them to start questioning the belief systems. Not many of us stop to question our values and where do our belief systems actually come from. So in my personal development training, it's when they start connecting the dots again, when they start realizing that the only permission they need is their own permission to be that strong, empowered person that they know they can be. And once that foundation is laid, then everything else comes really easy. But it's just, again, reconnecting that sense of spirit within themselves that they realize that they don't have to depend on anyone else to define who they are, but they actually need to just keep being in touch and stay connected with their own spirit. And I think that the ESD and personal development together really bring that out. And it's such a beautiful harmony where women start realizing that they don't need to look outside of themselves. They do need to spend more time asking themselves what they want. And that's where the spirit of ESD comes through. Why am I so driven to teach ESD? Because so many people that love what they do, we all wish that we had this growing up. We wish somebody taught us as we were getting older. So now, after decades of training in personal development and martial arts, I have the opportunity to instill this framework in my workshops in the Asia Pacific region and to essentially remind individuals that they have what it takes. They just needed the opportunity to spend time, to look within, to spend some time asking about their own values, connecting them with their purpose, understanding that change happens within first. And then once we have that confidence, we can go out into the community and start teaching others the same thing. So I always say it's not rocket science. It's actually the ability to connect with your inner spirit and having a purpose as to what kind of change do you want to see in this world. Famous quote. And start with yourself. And I actually see this happening in my trainings. I do see people having that aha moment and that ability to continue the work, not just come to a training for 4, 5, 6, 7 days and then go back to default. It is worth that time spent on working on your own self and understanding your own personality. And then they can go out there and actually make much stronger impact. I believe that the framework of empowerment through self-defense helps individuals understand that they can't look outside of themselves for change, that they are actually the conduits for change in their local community. But in my programs, I specifically focus on creating change within themselves first, taking the time to reconnect with the inner spirit, to connect with their own values, to connect to their own purpose, and taking on some form of responsibility for creating that change. Once that individual realizes that they are the person that needs to make the change, they go out into the community, whether it's speaking with the local governments, local communities, change makers, decision makers in the communities. They actually communicate through conviction, through a deeper understanding of what the ESD methodology is and how it actually changes people's mindsets. So I think it always comes back for me anyway to the individual. The individual needs to be that conduit of change. It starts with their own mindset, their own belief system that the ESD framework is so powerful and so flexible as well. And then they are able to communicate that into their community based on what the community needs. I'm such an advocate for ESD in terms of being able to see outside of the box and again, reminding themselves that the change starts with them and that they do have a responsibility for their own personal changes and then extending to the community. The biggest takeaway that's going to come out of the summer camp will be just listening to everybody's experiences in person as opposed to on Zoom. There is some magic, as we all know, that when we are face to face in person, there is just a different way of communicating, expressing our concerns, our celebrations that we've had with the ESD. And I think we'll be able to have some space to really share some of our deep feelings and be able to share what has worked for us and what hasn't worked for us. And I think purely being face to face is going to be very powerful. And I look forward to hearing other people's wins, other people's lessons. I'm looking forward to sharing also my wins, what we have done in the Asia Pacific region that has been very impactful, and see if there is a consistent theme amongst the positives and the negatives and learn from that. I guess one of my expectations from the camp would be the ability to be quite open and frank about all of our experiences in the last few years as we have been collaborating, teaching, conversing with individuals, organizations from small, medium to large, government sectors. And I want to hear that feedback. I want to see if there is a pattern, if there is a theme that we can all learn from, if there are areas that we are not doing so well in, if there are areas that we are doing really well in, and continue growing on that. I really want to hear some of the issues that we have all been experiencing and learn from each other, because the inability to travel or getting onto a Zoom because of time zones does keep a lot of information back. So I'm really expecting that we are going to have open, frank conversations, very passionate conversations about what has worked and what hasn't, and how we need to be better at what we are doing to really make stronger impact in our communities. I'm really looking forward to obviously just catching up with everybody in person again. And of course, meeting people for the first time in person who I have personally only spoken to on Zoom. That is going to be really special, something that we took for granted before, and something that we have found quite limiting because of having to only connect through social media and, of course, with these Zoom and Teams platforms. So really looking forward to catching up with old friends, new friends, making new connections, and having a really solid plan moving forward, forging collaborations and working with strengths and accepting our weaknesses and allowing other people to step up where their strengths are, and being humble and understanding that we could be doing things better. So I'm really looking forward to that. I want to participate in this summer camp because I am so looking forward to listening to everyone's experiences, understanding the nuanced approaches that we all take. They're all going to be very different. And I look forward to emptying my cup, to learning from the others and having lots of conversations about where do we see ESC going, having the ability to be open and frank and vulnerable and exchanging ideas and thinking outside the box. And there's going to be so many different personality types, different mindsets. And as an observer, I like to just see what is going on, scanning the room to see how everyone's feeling, and to be able to then gauge that sense of where is ESD currently and where do we want to see it grow. And it will be different for everybody. And I really look forward to getting that wholesome approach and listening to everybody. When I come back from the summer camp, I look forward to taking all that information from everybody and putting it together in a way that resonates with the Asia Pacific landscape. I feel that one area that I lack is actually marketing. It's not my strength. So I really want to take that inspiration and be able to put information together so organizations that work with violence prevention can see that ESD is a formidable concept and framework that they can use and start actually having conversations with organizations that may have seen ESD as something to avoid, but to actually now start engaging in how ESD can be used in their communities.